With a fade to Ingram and a block from his left guard to go. He's deep and he's got it.
Jackson has all day. Looking deep for Hollywood Brown again. He's got it. Brown off to the races. And he stays on his feet. Touchdown.
Yes.
Or pass completion. Here's Lamar on a run.
Jackson himself. Look at him dart back and forth. Oh, he broke his ankles. Now he's got an entourage. And he's got a touchdown. Yeah.
Get money, yeah. Like, wait, skate, spin on my dick like a Beyblade, my dick get hit her like.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nicholas James Amston, and welcome to Fat Kid Football Network. Today, we're going to be talking about someone that I really enjoy watching. He's on my second favorite team, Lamar Jackson. By now, you probably already know that since you saw the thumbnail and the title of the video, and we're just going to get into why he could be the MVP this year. There's reasons against it, obviously, and there's reasons for it. He's a very talented player. I think a good way to start off this video is talking about his stats so far from 2019, because stats obviously matter a lot. His team is 7-2. He has 168 completions out of 255 attempts, which is a 65.9% completion rate. He's thrown for 2,035 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Has a passer rating on the year of 101.7. And on 106 attempts, he has 702 yards and 6 touchdowns. So he has a total of 21 touchdowns. He's been the youngest quarterback to have a perfect passer rating in week 1. And then I believe in this current week, he actually became the youngest quarterback to have a perfect passer rating again. I believe he tied it. And then he was the first player to throw for at least 250 yards and run for 120 yards against the Cardinals. And then he, against the Bengals in week 6, he ran for 150 and passed for 200. Something that honestly impressed me. He beat the Patriots. I think that, honestly, that was his win. He ran for 2 touchdowns, and he was just completely impressive throughout that whole game. And I honestly love that game, and he looked extremely impressive. He shows so much poise against the best defense in the NFL currently. His passing and such wasn't the best, but that's okay. He won. I believe the final score is 37-20, and something that cements him as probably the best young quarterback in the NFL. And when I say young, I mean first 3-4 years. I honestly think he was probably the best quarterback drafted in the NFL draft last year, and maybe I'd say probably better. It's hard to say this year so far. I think Kyler Murray has been doing some good things. Same with Daniel Jones, but we'll have to see. I think we got to give those guys a sophomore year, but I think, honestly, out of the quarterbacks that were drafted last year, Baker, Josh, and Darnold, I believe Baker's in a sophomore slump. I think he's going to step it up. I don't know what's going on with Rosen. I don't think that he's going to be someone that is really relevant in the next couple years, and that hurts me as a Cardinals fan to realize that, but it's something that's probably just intimate. Because of how his career has been treated by the Cardinals and the Dolphins. I'm assuming he'll be traded again, which would be like his 7th offensive coordinator in the past 4 years or whatever. It's just ridiculous. He's not given really a good chance to succeed. But honestly, the times that he has played, despite not having much help, he looked bad. He just looked flat out bad. Darnold has looked decent to good sometimes. Obviously, he was out a couple weeks with that kissing disease, which I found weird because I thought Mitchell Trubisky loved kissing titties, but apparently Darnold loves kissing in general more, enough to get mono. Just some things I'd like to say about Lamar is, honestly, I think that he could be a starter at any position. That run that he had against the Bengals this week was amazing. I think he could play running back, wide receiver, corner, and safety, but I honestly think he's the most talented at quarterback because he has such an amazing arm. He has poise in the pocket. He's accurate, and I am so upset that people were just assuming that he'd be a running back in that statement game he had against the Bengals that first week. That statement where he fucking torched the Dolphins in week 1, not Bengals, where he torched that team, completely destroyed them. Now, the Dolphins are probably the worst team in the NFL, but it just shows that he's an amazing quarterback, and that's where he should be. But he could definitely play running back, wide receiver, corner, safety, anywhere like that. He could be a kick returner, honestly, if his team needed a kick returner. Honestly, Lamar put on a couple of pounds, he could play defensive end or linebacker. He is just ultra talented. He's electric, he's smooth as hell, and he puts up points. I think he gets his whole team going, and I think that he just understands the game of football. I think he has an amazing understanding of it. I think Harbaugh is a great coach for him, and I think that's a great duo. And I can't believe if people who have been a Ravens fan for a long time going through these mediocre, boring years with Joe Flacco. I honestly think Joe Flacco is a very boring quarterback, into these years with Lamar, how amazing that can be. And honestly, part of the reason I say that I am like a fan of the Ravens for these past year is because I am a big Lamar Jackson fan. I wanted the Cardinals to draft him last year over Josh Rosen, but they didn't, obviously. I don't know if I would take him over Kyler Murray currently. I really like what Kyler Murray does, but Lamar Jackson in Cliff Kingsbury's offense would be extremely dangerous, and would be really interesting to see. That being said, I love my midget quarterback, and we'll just leave it at that. I think that the reason why he wouldn't be the MVP, he had some bad games against the Steelers, the Chiefs, and the Browns. He just couldn't really find a rhythm in that game. So where he has some games where he doesn't look completely well-rounded like a quarterback, and he sometimes sputters, but that's okay because I feel like every quarterback has those types of games. Every quarterback has those issues sometimes. I honestly think the biggest reason why Lamar Jackson would not be the MVP this year is the competition. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook. I mean, Russell Wilson looks amazing. He has 22 touchdowns and 1 interception and 1,945 yards. Same with Aaron, 2,485 yards, 17 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I mean, I think honestly his biggest competition is Russell. But Christian McCaffrey, too, looks extremely impressive with 989 rushing yards halfway through the season, 11 touchdowns, 396 reception yards, and 3 touchdowns on receiving. Same thing with Dalvin Cook, 991 yards, 10 touchdowns, 40 catches, 424 yards. And honestly, I think that's the biggest reason is the competition this year, but we'll just have to see. I think that the way he does get the MVP for sure is he gets more touchdowns. His touchdown total goes up, passing and rushing. I say maybe if he finishes with like 35 total touchdowns, which I think is definitely possible for him. If he threw for 10 more, ran for 4 more, definitely I think can happen. And I think that would be really great to see. And I think if he runs for 1,000 yards and throws for 1,500 more yards, I think that he definitely will get it. I couldn't imagine a quarterback throwing for getting 35 total touchdowns, 1,000 yards rushing, and 3,500 yards passing. I couldn't imagine a quarterback of that caliber not winning MVP. But his biggest competition is Russell. And Russell did actually look pretty good against the Niners since he beat them. And I didn't have his stats put in my notes, but I think he threw for 1 touchdown, 1 interception, so his touchdown-interception ratio is 23-2 now. And he threw for around 200 more yards, so he's up to 2,000 yards, so obviously he has more passing yards and all that. But I think Lamar Jackson wins MVP this year. I think he does get that 1,000 yards rushing. I think he does throw for 3,500 yards, and I think he does get that touchdown total. I don't care how good of a quarterback Russell Wilson looks with his touchdown interception rating. I think Lamar's total yardage, everything, youth, he deserves MVP. And I also think the Ravens are a contender for the Super Bowl. If he gets even better, which I think he can, I think they 100% are. So that's my opinion on Lamar Jackson and if he's going to be MVP this year. If you agree, tell me in the comments below why you agree. If you disagree, tell me how much you love the Steelers. And if there's anything else you guys would like to see in a video, just tell me. I want to try and start making videos again. I'm going to be talking about Joe Burrow sometimes this week or next week, and if he should get the Heisman or if he should be first quarterback taken over Tua and Jalen. It is a hard thing to think about, but that's something I actually definitely want to get into more. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, definitely leave them below. Also, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you feel like it, join the Fat Fam, and kiss your dog on the mouth if you're feeling a little frisky. Have a great day.
Talking Lacoste made me say like a mix of Master P and Rick Ross. She seen.
You don't look like a rat. You don't look like a rat.